Today we're going to save a lot of money on towels.
Towels? But how much do you spend on towels?
Well, a lot. Okay, I don't really spend a penny on towels because all the ones that arrive on the boat are the ones my wife takes from home. But what we are going to save ourselves today are the uncomfortable leaks and dampness that appear on the boat during the winter and end up with towels strategically placed everywhere. Because today we're going to learn how to locate leaks and fix leaks and dampness problems on our boats to have a completely dry boat.
Well, by the way, change of season, change of outfit. So, summer outfit, please. Snap your fingers, this will come out by itself. See, how easy.
Well, yeah, hey, look.
Since I discovered how to dress my kids like this, it's wonderful.
Hey, but you have to teach me the trick. It costs me a lot of time every morning. Greetings sailors and welcome to a new episode of the Low Cost Sailor. In today's episode we're going to talk about leaks, condensation and rainwater ingress. We'll look at how we can get our boat completely dry and the benefits this has for extending the life of our electronics, clothing, cushions, timbers and generally everything we keep inside the boat. We will learn how to locate leaks and condensation in our boats, identify the weak points that we must monitor more frequently, and above all, how to solve it. Correctly sealing the water inlets, upgrading some bulkheads, hydrating the porthole seals, replacing the damaged ones, and even changing some entire portholes when they are so deteriorated or so bad that they are beyond salvation. In fact, and this is what will surprise you the most, we are going to make the red rag disappear.
The red rag? Which one? The one over there?
That one. What's wrong with it? What may have looked like an ugly, misplaced and annoying towel in the videos was actually a precision instrument strategically placed to absorb the water dripping from the overhead port light. And all this thanks to SVB, which with its more than 30,000 references of nautical articles of more than 350 different brands has allowed us to locate some of the most difficult to find spare parts for our boat's hatches. And mine was especially difficult to find as it was very, very old. Well, let's take the rag off. Let's get rid of it. It looks sadder now, doesn't it?
It lacks color.
Moisture and water ingress inside our ships is one of the greatest dangers to the durability and well-being of everything we store inside. A drift that continually drips onto a wooden plank, a cushion, the chart table, or drifts down the inside of our switch panel can become one of our worst enemies. I have a certain obsession with checking and keeping the bilge of the boat completely dry, and any presence of water in it sets off all the alarms. Well, this is also literal, as we saw in one of our episodes. We all tend to be very strict about the slightest ingress of salt water below the waterline, and we'd better be. But when it comes to fresh water, we let our guard down, resign ourselves to it, and even get used to it. The famous red rag, towels strategically placed under some of the hatches at the base of the mast, or even on the saloon table, were part of the decoration of my boat every time it was going to rain. And all because of those damn tiny leaks that with their constancy end up soaking everything. Well, today we are going to see how to get rid of them for good. Well, definitely. You know that in a boat there is nothing definitive. In order to tackle the problem, the first thing to do is to find it, and locating leaks in a boat can be something simple and obvious. Perhaps you just have to follow the trail of strategically placed kitchen towels and cloths, or on the contrary, it may not be so easy. Because leaks are not always there. They usually appear after a certain time of rain or when it rains very hard. So the most usual thing is that we have to wait until it rains to locate them. Luckily, we are in Cantabria and we have plenty of rain. Although in many cases it will be easier to simulate the rain ourselves simply with a hose. And that's it. Now we just have to wait and see how the drops begin to fall. If only it were that easy. Because although some leaks will be very obvious, others will be more difficult to find. And not everything that drips is a leak. And then there's moisture and condensation. There are a number of common candidates and weak points in our boat that can lead to leaks and dampness in the interior. The first is condensation. I remember the Trastolillo had a real condensation problem when they took the sheepskin off the roof. It was practically raining inside the boat.
No, not practically. It was literally raining
It rained, it rained.
Literally, eh? Like young
Literally.
people say now.
We have already talked about the importance of insulation in the hull to prevent condensation and the ways in which we could reduce the humidity inside. Whether it's through electric dehumidifiers, I have one running whenever the boat is in port, or chemical dehumidifiers that can be placed inside cabinets, for example, and they work quite well at absorbing moisture from the air. Of all these options, SVB has a lot of products in their catalog. The truth is that they have everything, except for two things that we have not found for this video and that we will see later. But once the humidities have been controlled, there are a number of weak points on our boat that can be the main sources of leaks. Fastenings and screws. The deck of our boat is perforated by a multitude of holes to fix elements such as the rigging, candlesticks, winches, pulleys and other fastening points. If they are not well sealed or the material is not adequate and starts to rust, they tend to become a source of leaks. Cable glands and bulkheads, the holes we make to pass cables, can be another source of water entry. Using suitable grommets helps to avoid problems. But even so, the deterioration of the silicones or the aging and loosening of the grommets can end up generating leaks. Sometimes leaks come from unexpected places. For example, one of the leaks I had at the base of the pole continued to appear on rainy and windy days despite having smeared everything with silicone as if there was no tomorrow. With the hose, I could not reproduce it. I poured water and the leak did not come out, until I discovered that through the broken sheath of the UTP cable of the masthead camera, a small trickle of water went down the inside of the cable and entered the inside of the boat.
Was it there as if by capillarity almost?
Almost. I had to go up and plug it up there. Hatches and portholes. The big holes we make to let light into the interior of the boat can also become problems. The joints of the portholes and hatches, as well as the gluing of the methacrylates, age with time. If not properly cared for and renewed, they can be a major source of leaks, and if not, just tell me about it. But there are some water ingresses that are not so obvious, either because they do not always occur or because the water manifests itself far from the point of entry. In those cases, finding it can be tricky, but I'm going to show you a couple of very effective methods for locating them. The key is to follow backwards the path of the water inside the boat. Two key tools for finding leaks are going to be blacklight, purely in a CSI style. When water enters the boat, it carries lime, salt and rust with it, leaving deposits along the way. Using a blacklight flashlight in a dark environment makes those traces light up, revealing the source of the leak. You can see this in these examples, for example, on my boat. I wouldn't look too hard at some places on boats and stuff, just in case. Who knows? Moisture telltale stickers. These tiny stickers, which are used to detect water ingress in the warranty of cell phones and electronic devices, change color upon contact with water and stay that way even if it dries out. We can strategically distribute them in suspicious and inaccessible spots and from time to time check if they have changed color. If they have, we already have a water entry route to investigate. This, along with the black light flashlight, are the only two things we have not found in the SVB catalog, but you can easily get them on Amazon, AliExpress or the usual places. For the rest, I got all my supplies from SVB and in a couple of days I had them at home. Sealing gaskets, different types of silicone, wall bushings, portholes, you will find everything at a good price. Besides, if you buy something in SWB, you can use the promotional code The Low Cost Sailor. So apart from letting SWB know how useful and practical it is to sponsor our videos, you will receive a very special gift. Right now it's a cap like this one I'm showing you right now. It's great, isn't it?
There's only one. What about me?
Well, you know how generous I am, so I'm going to give up my cap to give it to you. Woohoo! Well, we're moving on. And we have already said that any hole in the cover is a weak point and water quickly finds its way inside. The key is that all the holes we make, in addition to being plugged by their own screw, must be sealed with silicone. Well, silicone is a figure of speech because the ideal for marine environments and especially for exposure to ultraviolet rays is the use of polyurethane mastics, that is the classic Sikaflex, which combine adhesion and elasticity and can be used both for bonding and sealing. In the marine environment, the most common is Sikaflex 291i, which is ideal for this environment. It cures with moisture and has good adhesion on almost all types of substrates. That would be the most common, but it does not have great UV resistance. So it's perfect for joints where they don't get a lot of sun. Indoors, great. Outside, fine, as long as it's not exposed. For example, if we use it under a metal sheet or something like that, there is no problem. More modern and more resistant to UV rays with superior elasticity, we could say that it is the technological substitute for 291i today, is Sikaflex 591. This is no longer polyurethane, but another type of polymer suitable for the same applications, from ceilings on the deck to through-hull fittings. However, it is contraindicated for bonding teak, methacrylates, and polycarbonates. For the latter, something UV resistant would be required. Sikaflex 595 UV is designed to withstand exposure to the sun and has good adhesion to these materials. However, to achieve a really durable seal on polycarbonates and methacrylates, which have quite difficult adhesion, it is ideal to first apply a suitable primer, such as Sika Primer 209D.
Sika Primer, improve your pronunciation.
Sika Primer, Sika. Well, and Sikaflex. And I tell you all this from experience because I've been on a budget, you won't believe it, but I've been on a small budget, and I have glued many times the methacrylates of the boat with acid silicone, the cheapest one. And of course, I had to repeat it many times because every season they ended up peeling off. So if you can choose the right material, taking into account that they are not expensive things either, your seals will last much longer. I also highly recommend taping well around the areas where you are going to apply the caulk to save you some cleanup work and apply just the right amount. Any gap is a candidate for water seepage. This is especially true for cable grommets. If, like me, you're addicted to junk on the boat, you probably have a lot of wires running in and out of the interior. With cables, we must also be careful that they are designed for outdoors and withstand exposure to the sun. Otherwise, we will have to line them or cover them with anti-vulcanization tape or other similar protections. The problem with the cables will not be the water but the sun. And then, of course, when the sheath cracks, yes, then water will become a problem. To pass them inside, the ideal is to use wall bushings. There are very nice and of all kinds in stainless steel for covers plastic. In the end, their mission is to guarantee the water tightness in the passage of the cable, but the water tightness of the wall bushing itself with the cover, you have to guarantee it with enough Sika. I am in the process of replacing many of my cable glands with watertight aviation connectors. I like them better, especially at the base of the mast, because they allow me to disconnect everything completely at a given moment. Either to disassemble the mast, because a cable has broken and is causing a short circuit that inhibits other electronic equipment, or even to disconnect everything in case of a storm, and the mast is completely disconnected from the rest of the network. I already have a few ready to change them. I just needed a solution for the antenna coaxial cables. I had not found anything anywhere, and of course SVB had the solution. A watertight bulkhead connector for coaxial cable of 50 ohms, so I have no more excuses. I'm going to change everything. Finally, the biggest source of water ingress conflicts inside the boat are all the hatches and portholes that proliferate on our boats to give us light and air inside, but which also, over time, end up giving us unwanted water. We have many, and there are many formats. The skylights or deck lights that can be attached with screws or just glued, and usually is a piece of methacrylate or polycarbonate attached to the hull with a sealant and maybe with some screws. These materials are difficult to glue and may require a previous preparation with a special primer, as we have said before, and then the sealing is going to be subjected to 3 factors that are very annoying: salt water, bright sun, and foot traffic. All the ports and portholes that can be stepped on time and time again suffer stresses and strains that compromise the seal, so the putties have to be very elastic. In addition, they will soon announce that they are peeling off with the presence of mold and dirt. There will be no choice but to remove them completely. Remove the old remains, especially if they were silicones or products other than the one we are going to apply. Protect them well with masking tape, give them their primer, wait about 30 minutes and no more than 24 hours, applying it in a single layer, and from there on, then simply apply the Sika 295 with a little pressure but without overdoing it, because there has to be product between the two surfaces to ensure there's elasticity in the union, and so when you step on it, it does not aggregate, and of course remove all the excess, so that it looks nice, very nice. Done this way, the joint will last for many seasons. Whether it is a hatch or a porthole, and these are in good conditions, its weak point are the water tightness joints and the O-rings of the mechanisms, although it can also happen that the methacrylates detach from their frames. To extend the life of all these joints, the best option is cleaning and hydration. In general, all methacrylates and polycarbonates are very sensitive to many solvents, so the fiber and aluminum frames can be cleaned with acetone or alcohol. But for the methacrylate itself, the best is water and soap. Without more, with acetone you can load the methacrylate. The gaskets can also be cleaned with a toothbrush, soap and water, or simply with a damp cloth. In addition, it is advisable to hydrate them from time to time, with Vaseline for example, so that they do not lose elasticity. If you have not done this, or the boat was already quite old when you bought it, it is possible that the gaskets are dusty and need to be replaced. This is my case. SVB sells generic gaskets that can be useful for many types of port lights, but their real advantage is that they have a section with spare parts for all types of Leomar port lights and hatches, which can save our lives and bring them back to youth without spending a lot of money.
SVB, good morning. Arlette speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, good morning. I need some tanker gaskets for my boat. Could you help me?
Yes, of course we can. Have you reviewed our catalog with over 30,000 items from over 300 different brands? We even have a spare parts search engine.
Yeah, well, I haven't looked very hard really, but I haven't found it.
Okay, alright, no problem. Please tell me what you need.
Well, what I need is a sealing gasket for one of the windows of the boat where water is coming in.
Your window? Perhaps you mean a porthole or a hatch?
Right, a hatch.
Okay, please tell me which hatch it is.
Well, the port side.
Yes, and do you have any other information you can give me? Model?
No, I'm not a model. No, I'm good looking and all, good looking, a YouTuber, but I'm not a model, no.
I mean, which hatch model?
It is rectangular, the rectangular model.
Yeah, and does it have something written on it?
Let me look. So yes, it says Ramuel, it's Ramuel.
Well, it doesn't ring a bell.
Yes, it's a bit strange, but it says Ramuel.
Are you maybe inside the boat? Please do me a favor and go outside and check it again.
Yes, I am inside. Okay, I'll read it again. But come on, it's going to say the same thing. That's right. It says Leomar. Yes, you are absolutely right.
Now that we have all kinds of spare parts for Lumar, there is one thing to do in this case. Please send me some pictures and measurements by mail, and we will let you know the gasket you need and the availability.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
With the proper gaskets, it is time to renew them, install the new ones that SVB will have obtained, and also change the O-rings of the mechanisms. Take the opportunity to reseal any joint that did not have adequate putty and that the sun has deteriorated, and so you will have an impeccable seal. You can use the stickers we mentioned before to ensure that everything went well and that no water gets in. The worst case is when there is no way to fix the gate because it has many broken parts, the mechanism is in very bad condition, or simply its design was not very good. This is the case of the generation of the port lights on my boat, which really didn't have a very good or reliable seal, so it is time to change it completely. It is not the cheapest solution, far from it, but it is a total upgrade for the boat. I have replaced a couple of them that were in very bad shape, and so it has also provided me with spares for the others. The good thing is that Leomar manufactures the modern portholes in the same dimensions as the old portholes, so the holes will fit. Wow, it comes very well packaged and looks so good. How transparent. I didn't remember that. And with mosquito netting on top of it. This is going to improve a lot my homemade smoke extractor for the kitchen. So let's install it. First, remove the old one. On some screws it can be so hard that you will even have to cut them. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole process, since everything is so tightly glued and some screws welded. You can even find out where the water was flowing. I have removed a screw, and water has started to enter through there that would be accumulated I don't know where. Clean well all the previous remains of silicone to fit everything well in place. With the gate upside down, apply a generous amount of Sika on the aluminum profile. Well, don't overdo it. Press it into position. Some excess Sika should come out between the profile and the frame, and it will more or less stick in place. Then we can put the inner frame and tighten the screws. Well, depending on the thickness of the hull of your boat, the screws will be too long. They put them in for the longer case, and you will have to cut them. To cut them, a fundamental tool that everybody has to have on their boat.
I know it. The shears.
The shears, exactly. You can cut them with a saw or many other ways, but with the shears it's fast, efficient, and they are good enough for you to put them on easily. Another very important detail is that before putting the screws you have to grease them well, because if not, there will be no way to remove them over time, as has happened to us when removing the old ones. And that's it. The only thing left to do is to put the trim. Here, Inma could have done it a bit better. I'm not sure exactly how, but just a bit better. Because you also need to cut it. We can do that with scissors or with a cutter in order to adjust the inner frame to the required thickness so that it fits properly. I thought it was a little bit difficult, but once placed, you have it there, it looks wonderful. Now we can enjoy the view while we cook, and with the guarantee that water will not continue to enter through there. But the red towel will be back, won't it? Well, I don't need it now, I can put it on for decoration. I must admit that I was desperate, especially with the fact that there was a leak that was falling on my living room table, which was making me desperate. And then, in the end, you get used to it. It was clear to me that there was always a towel in the forward cabin, pam, 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 the rain that fell. You get used to things that are not normal. I really wanted to do this. I really wanted to be able to say that the boat is dry, and now that's how I feel. The porthole thing, it just looks so good now. It's so transparent. It's so easy to use. I'm getting an urge to change them all. What happens is that it is very expensive. Maybe the methacrylates, I don't know. I have to look for a solution. You can see through, you can see the outside. I am very happy. I am so happy with what we have done here, which is affordable. Anyone can do it. I am really happy. Very happy with this collaboration that we have done again with SWB. They have a very good service. They serve everywhere. They send to everybody. There goes a package from SWB. They have a great service. I mean, they send you the stuff in 2 or 3 days, you have it at home. They've always sent us a lot of great stuff. You look in the catalog and there's everything you can imagine, and if not, you call them and they find it for you, and on top of that, they send it to any port in the world. Come on, when it comes to buying something really nautical, the reference for me is SVB. Thank you very much for your attention, sailors. I hope you liked today's episode. If so, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, you have the little bell to receive notifications, you have all the links in the video description and on our website www.thelowcoastsailor.com. And of course, apart from SWB, who is always there supporting us, we have other people who support us day by day, month by month, who are our Patreons, who now appear on the screen. Anyway, we'll see you in a couple of weeks in a new and exciting episode, which I'm sure it's going to be, although I can't remember right now what it's going to be about, on the low-cost sailor.
Can I use this for a problematic window with a leak at home? Yes, but don't call me. Oh yeah, later.
Yes,
Look,
but
let's
don't
go now
call
to...
me.
No. Yes, I'll talk to Lara. I'm talking to Lara. Listen, Lara, David's a little late. Come on,
No.
see you later. Oh yeah, later. Look, let's go now to... Yes, I'll talk to Lara. I'm talking to Lara. Listen, Lara, David's going to be a little late. Bye, see you.